I'm somewhere. Oh god. I can do it. I can do it. Ow. Perfect. Hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of Vanilla. Stuck the landing. Over here, I have gathered some materials that we need next to our big pile of ancient debris here to work on this today. Our hopefully, by the end of this episode, fully functional and pretty looking blacksmith. So, I've gone through and grabbed some deep slate from down below, grabbed a bunch of different wood types, the mangrove, the bone blocks, and even some bricks for probably a bit of a chimney over here, and just some random bits and pieces that we're going to need. I want to get this built today, and then hopefully go and gather myself enough gold to build up a little bit of netherite and convert what we're wearing and using into netherite gear. Yeah. So, the biggest problem facing me is this thing. The builder's block that I'm experiencing, looking at this and trying to work out exactly what I'm going to make. But at the end of the day, I think my best bet is to actually just start. I just need to start building. I need to tear this down. I need to put down some pieces of wood for my corners and just try it out. So, to start this episode off, we're going to get right into building it up, because it'd be nice to spend the rest of the episode after it's built working around inside a really nice little building here. Maybe gathering a couple of those villagers from down there, making ourselves some netherite and all that fun stuff. So with that, I hope you enjoy the time lapse, and I'll see you on the other side. Yep. And yep. With that, I finally have a building. That took a lot of effort for me. I even showed it in the time lapse. It actually took me a couple of tries and an entire day of building to get that to a point that I'm actually happy with it. But now we have ourselves a bit of a interesting blacksmith up here. And I wouldn't say it's quite finished yet. But this area now is the start of my smithy. Yeah. And it turned out pretty nicely. I've got this area down here which has a cutting wheel powered by a little bit of a water wheel itself, and then the other side is more of the forging area where we make the tools and stuff. of course it's raining again. But the reason I ended up coming up with this design is because after making 2 different iterations, or actually it was more like 3 or 4, I cut out a little bit of the changes. I had to take a step back and look at this. This rain's a little bit annoying. Hold on. I need to get the resource pack that stops it from being so dense so I can still film. There we go. That's a little bit better. Far less rain on the screen. A little bit nicer to film in. So what I did is I took a step back and decided, how would they use this area? What would this be in the middle of town? Why would this be in line with the mines that we have over here? Because it sort of is. It's not perfectly, but it is in that line. And we may even bring up some stuff from down below at some point. But I decided on a couple of different things. I actually sat there for like 5-10 minutes just thinking. And this, which originally was just going to be made as a windmill, I think I'll turn it into a windmill that's actually pulling water up from a great underground lake and pulling it up to feed this area with water to farm trees, to run the mill over here, which is being used for cutting timber or even stones. I like the idea that maybe this is cutting stone. And furthermore, coming down into the animal pen, where it will provide a water source for the animals that we're going to have down here, amongst other things. I'm sure we can work out some extras. But it feeds itself, providing water for this area and then returning down here. And this is like an exposed section maybe of the lake. And we might dig underneath all of that and create a large cavern. We'll have to see how I feel. But for now, I like the idea that it's almost like a well, gathering the water that is below the surface. Because this stuff here, actually, let's check the height of it. Yeah, see, this is -50. Not negative. This is 55, 56. But sea level is actually a little bit higher than that at 63. And the standard has always been 63 for sea level. Oh, nice. But with the Caves and Cliffs update, they allowed for different levels of water in pockets underground. So this thing here is lower, and I really like that. So when I thought about that, it kind of led to extending this into a longer building to provide a spot for this water wheel, which I think turned out pretty nicely, actually. It's the first time I think I've ever built a water wheel in vanilla. This is where I really wish we had something like Create, or the ability that Create has to rotate objects. Even if I didn't have all of the farming capabilities of Create, just the rotational aspect would be fun. But then we made this have a central area where I can store some villages. I was kind of thinking this is maybe a little bit like a forge, but we might add a forge out here somewhere. I'm not quite sure. And I started to gather some materials. So we've got a few things that are obviously going to be adjusted as we go. I really like how the roof came out, and it provides a good little area to work with. And now down here, what I'm going to do is actually have a little bit of a bridge come across this way to our library, and much the same up here. We'll do a little bridge across and probably back down. Just connect everything up a little bit, try and make it look really nice. And this is little things that I can work on streams or just in between episodes, decorating up these areas. I think it turned out pretty nice. If you don't look too closely, it is a mess. It is just a bunch of little corners that are just thrown together, but I kind of like it. You don't have to have a perfect setup for everything. Some things are just a little bit crungly. Crungly? Why is that the word that popped into my head? Anyway, so with this sorted and built, a little custom tree that I decided to throw in there just towards the end for a little bit of creativity. I think it turned out pretty well. And that means that we can now go on to do a little bit of mining and hopefully get ourselves some gold. Now, it would be quite easy for me to go into the nether and just collect gold that way. But I think I like the idea of this being taken from the depths of the nether, and maybe we go down into the depths of the overworld to gather the resources. Something a little bit like, I'm starting to think of lore, or at least reasons behind all of this building. Also, I love how it's starting to reach the point where I'm getting those sight lines. If you've been around with me for a long time, it's something that I definitely try and do with my builds, and something that I've learned over time is the little peaks, the little the hinting at things built in the distance. Like, you'll see part of the library over there. You'll see part of the windmill, and then as you're coming up this way across the path, it opens up, and you're like, oh, okay, this area here. But we'll add some more little trees and stuff, and it might block this off once you reach this point. I really like it. But, what was I saying? The lore behind this, how would I describe the build style? A little Eastern Asia inspired with the rooftops, but also a little bit like Nordic inspired in sort of a longhouse or a long hall kind of way. I don't know. But at the same time, technology-wise, quote-unquote technology, we have ourselves Waterwheel, chains and gears. This is what that's meant to sort of represent, a bit of a loop to allow these chains to transfer the power of that Waterwheel into this blade. And we also have stuff like, like pistons over here, which are being used to, generate things. Mine carts, rails, gears, all that sort of stuff. Makes me, thank you. Makes me sort of think more in that's been going for a while. More of like a dwarven or something inspired technology. Been slowly filling this up at the same time that I've been been doing my work. And yeah, that one's been filling up too. Wonderful. But the reason I mention sort of a dwarvish inspired or semi-dwarvish inspired setup is because when working with materials, hello? Anything good? Oh, the Nautilus shells could be worthwhile. When working with materials, they'd want the best of the best. Let's just grab some emeralds there. And so, you came to me. Nice. 5 of those is good. We'll grab some fish. Cool. So they would delve into the lowest parts of the nether to gather this rare earth material, which is harder than anything we have in the overworld, and can be combined with a malleable item such as gold to create some very impressive tools and armor. But the gold that's in the nether is sort of fragmented, small, not rich like the stuff that we have in the overworld, but little nuggets of it, little pieces that they would have to put together. And so instead of that, I like to think that they would go down into the world here, where they know they have larger deposits, stuff that comes in big chunks and can be put together into blocks of gold. So I think that's what I'm going to do. It's purely, there's no reason behind it other than the fact that, I want to do it for lore reasons, I guess. So we're going to search for gold down here. Yeah. You guys can go in there. So, torch in hand. We've got plenty on that pickaxe. We have a spare pickaxe in there that we could take. I'm going to take a few of those rockets as well. And some extra torches. And this is good because I also need coal. So let's pop down here and have a little bit of a look in some areas that we haven't been before. In fact, I'm going to grab this coal right now. At this transition point, sort of between the two, is where I gathered some materials for building up that creeper farm. Just going to grab a couple of these, thank you. And I really should go check my iron farm as well, because that has hopefully been running in the background. But, there we go. I thought that, I thought that I had seen some around here somewhere. That still scares me. I wonder if we have a city nearby. But there's the first few pieces of our gold. And let's go over and grab some more. I don't necessarily want enough gold to get the entirety of that ancient debris stack sorted. In fact, I'd like to keep some untouched for the time being. But, oh god. But it would be nice to have a little bit, or enough to make myself all the gear that I need. Now, I see some more gold, but if I hear sounds of a warden, I'm going to, I'm going to lose it. I'm scared. I still have not encountered one of my own yet. So this is a little bit nerve-wracking for me. It's funny because I'm sure as people have played more and more of this update and gotten used to the warden, spent some time playing around with it and experiencing it fully, it's probably nowhere near as scary in the end. But for me, this stuff is still untouched territory. I might grab a few pieces of this though, because it's interesting. And I don't have any, and I've never had any. Okay. This wasn't even originally where I was planning to look for the gold, but kind of got drawn in here a little bit, which is fine. That's how Minecraft works. Following the caves until you find something interesting. Or a dead end. Grab a little bit more of this gold. Oh my goodness, that scared me so much. I hate it. Oh, I think we're going to go to somewhere I feel safer. Phew. Those noises, oh, they freak me out. Okay. Maybe this direction? That definitely looks like it could be a giant ore vein. Oh, that's a big open area. Okay. Interesting. This is good though. The transition point between the deep slate and the stone. I love looking for that deposits of coal. Doesn't look like we got any here though. But gold is still in the cards. How are we looking? Not too bad. Not too bad. I would like to get a little bit more before we pop out though. Ooh. And looks like we found a lush cave. Have we found one of those in this series yet? I can't actually remember. Ooh, that's what I was looking for. Finding the caves that sort of sit at this point between the two, it's actually not that difficult to find the coal. There's possibly a little bit more over there too. There is. So let's do that. Let's head over here. Get rid of you. There's even some gold there and some diamonds. This is actually a pretty nice cave. Oh, we've got everything all at once. And if I was looking for the deep slate coal, this is sort of the area that I would be really lighting up and searching properly. Oof, no thank you. That can be for another day though. Gold. So yeah, I guess random tip of the day is if you're looking for the rarer version of coal, the deep slate variety, try and find yourself a cave that is down at that transition point between the two. Usually doesn't take too much time exploring to find one, or just strip mine at that layer. Nice. I can pop up here and grab those goodies, and we can start up a little bit of a collection of it. It's really nice to use in buildings and stuff like what I did just then. Using a little bit of deep slate coal for some decoration or some extra detail in a floor somewhere. Really nice. All right. That gives us 29, and we probably want to get ourselves at least half a stack. So just a little bit more adventure, a little bit more exploration, and maybe we get ourselves a flower. What are they called? Flowering azalea? Azalea. Something. Thing. Stuff. Yes. Ooh, full iron, boy. Oh, yeah. It would be kind of nice to start, start collecting some fancy ones like that, but I don't have the resources or the setup right now to deal with that, so I'm just going to leave it and grab this. That's what I wanted. Good to know that we have one of these fairly easily accessible, but with that, I think we probably have enough. 33. That'll do. Now, how do I get out of here? This is obviously only a very small section. Ooh, a bit more gold of a lush cave. So I would like to explore a little bit more at some point. Try and get some of those flowers. But I don't think now is the time. Instead, we'll head back and finally get ourselves set up with some netherite. So I'm going to put away the rarer stuff. Oh, I've actually got 18 in there already. So we might keep the standard gold and use the deep slate. We're going to put that away. Just a few things that I don't need from in there. And we'll grab my Fortune 3 pick. Oh yeah, I've already purchased from you. I haven't quite set up a little supply of furnaces and stuff over there yet, but because stuff like the blast furnace is actually a point of interest, or a, what are they called, workstation for those guys, the villagers, I probably won't set it up until I have those in there, or the villagers ready to go. Now, let's see what we get from 36. Hopefully a decent amount. Okay, not too shabby. Now for the fun part. Actually, this is silly, but I want to do it. Because I was talking about that law, let's do a thing. Use the saw here to cut up some of this gold and put it into nice sized pieces for smelting. Cut through the ore, mine up some of the ancient debris, forge it in our lava supply over here. Forge. And with both of these in my hands, I will combine them into a material worthy of this blacksmith. Ta-da! We did it! Look at this. Netherite. Oh, it's so good to have it finally. I love the progress we're making in this series. I'm genuinely just having some fun. Just enjoying my time, not really trying to rush anything. I'm just building for the creativity of it. And now we have this fancy material, this unknown, rare material that was definitely created by our engineers, our architects, our dwarven compatriots. Aye, that's me. I came up with the design for this all by myself. Came out not bad. With a wee bit of work, we could probably make some decent armour out of this. That'd be nice. Alright, let's get to work. So, I'm going to grab my chest plate, and I just made myself enough to convert all of my armour like that. Yeah. Wait, there we go. Fancy purple boy. And we can now convert that, and that. And of course it's raining again. We are set. We have netherite armor. We have netherite tools. And we actually have plenty left over to make a bunch of our spare tools up and everything in between. There's probably just one more thing that I would like to make, but that can be saved for another episode because I think we're done. This took me a long time. Building this was somewhere around 6 hours, but that was with breaks throughout the day, and it took me a whole day to get to this to a point that I actually liked it a little bit. So, as far as bringing in some villagers and such and doing an interior, that can wait. I'll either do that in between episodes or pop it into the next one. We've got ourselves a blacksmithy. We've started to use our ancient debris. We've got some gold. Things are looking pretty good. So, I would like to say thank you very much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this episode. I hope you enjoyed me being a little bit silly throughout and also coming up with some lore and stuff. Just some ideas for how this is actually utilized and the reason it's here. The reason that we have the Waterwheel in the end and the reason for this future building and all of that jazz. I think it's just a bit of fun to use your imagination and be a bit creative. I would like to thank my Patreon supporters for your continued support. You folks are amazing, and it genuinely does mean a lot that you continue to believe in me. And also, if you enjoyed this episode, I'd really appreciate a like. It does help a lot, helps me get out there, and for more people to see it. So, with that, until the next episode, I hope you take care of yourselves, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye, everyone.